The most well-known expansion audio chips for the Rico 2A03 APU on the Famicom were a way for developers to bypass the limitations of the console's built-in sound hardware. Let's clarify some detail about each of them. The Konami chips. So the VRC6, the Konami VRC6, this mapper chip was used in a few Konami titles, most notably the Japanese version of Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, Aku Majou Densetsu. It added 3 additional channels, 2 pulse wave channels and a sawtooth wave channel. This gave composers a much richer palette to work with, allowing for more complex harmonies and a fuller sound. The pulse channels offered more flexibility than the 2A03s, and the sawtooth wave provided a unique buzzy timbre. The VRC7, the Konami VRC7, this was a much more advanced chip. So based on the Yamaha YM2413 FM synthesis chip, it was only used in the game Lagrange point. It added 6 channels of FM synthesis, which is a fundamentally different way of creating sound than the simple waveforms of the 2A03 or VRC6. This gave Lagrange point's music a distinct, almost sound card quality, with sounds that were much more like real-world instruments. Now, there were other third-party chips, the Sunsoft 5B. This was the chip, a variant of the Yamaha YM2149F, and it was used exclusively in the game Gimmick. It added 3 square wave channels, a noise generator, and an envelope generator. This made Gimmick's soundtrack stand out with its rich, full sound and complex arrangements. There was also the Namco 163. Namco's unique approach to expansion audio was a wavetable synthesizer chip. So Namco 163 could provide up to 8 additional channels, but the more channels used, the lower the audio fidelity. This required composers to be very strategic, and most games using the chip stuck to 4 or fewer channels for better sound quality. The flexibility of custom waveforms, however, allowed for a wide variety of sounds. So Nintendo and others also had some expansions to the APU of the 2A03, such as FDS, the Famicom Disk System. This wasn't a cartridge chip, but rather an expansion that was a separate unit with its own RAM adapter. The FDS Famicom Disk System actually added a single channel of wavetable synthesis, which could be programmed with a custom 64-step waveform. This gave many FDS games, including the Japanese version of The Legend of Zelda, a distinct and often haunting musical quality. There's also the Nintendo MMC5. Nintendo's own advanced mapper chip included its own set of audio capabilities. It added 2 extra pulse wave channels, similar to the 2A03s, and an 8-bit delta modulation channel, DMC, which was a higher quality sampled audio channel than the 2A03's built-in DPCM channel. These audio features were used in a small number of games like Just Breed and Metal Slayer Glory. The MMC5 was a very extensive chip which limited its use. And then you have the Jaleco. These were not general purpose sound synthesizers, but actually specialized ADPCM or adaptive differential pulse code modulation chips. They were primarily used to add sampled speech and sound effects to Jaleco's sports games, like the Moero Pro Yakyu series. And then Bandai, this will be the last one I mention. Bandai's Mitsubishi M50805. It's similar to the Jaleco chips, but the M50805 was a dedicated speech synthesis chip. It was used in a handful of games, most notably Family Trainer 3 Aerobics Studio, to provide a distinct robotic voice. All of these expansion chips illustrate a key point about the Famicom's hardware design: the foresight to include an audio input pin on the cartridge slot. This single feature allowed Japanese developers to push the boundaries of what was possible with 8-bit sound and create some of the most complex and memorable soundtracks in video game history.